Hi, and welcome back to Tony's Cool Tools. And if it's your first time, thanks for stopping. So I've made several videos on the Axis splitter here since I've owned it for the last 3 years. And recently I did 2 videos on the new Splitfire 1165V. And I've gotten numerous comments asking me to do a comparison between the Axis, since they're both vertical splitters, the Axis or the Wolf Ridge 17 VS and the 1165V. What's the major differences on these, and why would you pay so much more? So the first thing I want to point out and make crystal clear is that the Splitfire 1165V is not a commercial log splitter. It is what I consider a pro-grade splitter, and that is a splitter that is well above the box store splitters, but yet not quite at the level of a commercial log splitter. Now, with that being said, I just wanted to make a quick video to show you the differences between the Splitfire and the Axis here. And if you're in the market for a splitter, this will give you more information to make your decision. And I'm super glad that there are so many companies now that are out there making these splitters. So we as consumers are the beneficiaries of all this great equipment here. Anytime manufacturers make upgrades or innovations to their splitters here, we benefit from it. And there are a number of reasons why vertical splitters are becoming so popular. People are finally able to see, one, you're not bending over on anything or stooped over a horizontal log splitter. The other thing is you're getting a better quality split with the vertical, in my opinion. And with foot controls or knee controls like the Splitfire, it makes you hands-free and quicker in your splitting, as well as making a quality split without a lot of debris. So first, just look visually at the difference between David and Goliath here. Now the Axis is rated at 14 ton, while the Splitfire is 7.5 ton. So virtually half the tonnage on it. And the weight on the Axis is 2,500 pounds without the conveyor, while the 1165 is 450 pounds. The 1165 is 84 inches to the top of the beam here. Now the Axis is 102 inches to the top of the ram here, or if you have the conveyor, it's 125 inches total height. And I'll talk about that a little later and why it's so important. And here's where it gets very interesting. The new Axis comes with a 23 horsepower Vanguard engine, and it is electric start. While the 1165 comes with a 5.5 horsepower engine, and there is no electric start option. But the reality is you really don't need an electric start on such a small engine. Really, even a small frame person can start this easily with one pull. I told you it was going to get interesting. The Axis with its 23 horsepower engine versus the 5.5 1165 here, they both have almost identical splitting cycle times. 3.5 on the 1165, 3 seconds on the new Axis splitter. So that's kind of unusual that even though the engine sizes are totally different, they still have the same splitting speeds. The Axis offers an 8-foot conveyor that articulates from side to side, so you could load your IBC totes, dump trailers, or just stack big piles, and then just move along. And there is no conveyor available on the Splitfire 1165V. So let's talk wedges now. This is the older Axis, and the wedge length here is 11 inches. The thickness is 1 inch. I know that the current one, I believe, is a bit longer than this, but I think it's still the same thickness. So it's no surprise why it could go through all that crotchy, ugly wood with no problem. 23 horsepower engine with this type of wedge, you'll pretty much go through anything. Now the 1165 has a wedge of 8.5 inches and 3/4 of an inch thick. So only 1/4 of an inch less than the Axis. And it has a a wedge very similar to the axe or to the Fiskar axe like this. It does pop the wood open when you're splitting with this. Now, if you're doing crotchy wood, you can't go right smack dab in the middle and expect it to split it. You have to read your wood and work on the edges. It will work, I'll tell you. I've split over 10 cords now, and let me say, this does work pretty good on ugly wood. And both machines come equipped with either peeler plate or peeler arms, and this is for removing any wood that gets stuck. The ram, when it comes up, the wood hits this and just pops right off. And here are the peeler arms on the Axis. Works the same way. If you get a piece of wood stuck on the wedge, as it's coming up, it hits these and pops back down. The Axis is totally powder coated for durability for outside use, while the 1165 currently is just painted. However, next year, I believe, or they say in the future, that they're going to, the folks at Splitfire say they're going to powder coat these machines just like they do with their chippers or their 3-point carryalls. Now, a number of people have commented that when they saw my videos on the 1165 that it looks very small, but I'll tell you, with a 16-inch block, your hands are right here, so I'm doing no bending of any kind, and it's super comfortable. Whereas the Axis with a 36-inch table, it brings it up higher here, and my hands are just positioned a little bit lower. But both machines are super easy as far as working on them at the heights that the tables are at. Now, the Axis table dimensions are 69 inches wide, 20.5 inches deep, and it does have a 13-inch backsplash here, so none of the wood goes beyond it. The other thing that the table incorporates are these pallet pockets right here, so that if you do have a skid steer that is capable of lifting 2,500 pounds or more, you can move the splitter easily all over your property. The table dimensions on the Splitfire are 28 inches by 18 inches. Now, Splitfire is the only company that offers a belly protector here. And the purpose for that is, if you have a piece of wood that's angle cut and you don't put it the right way on the machine here, it has a potential to kick out. I did that at a recent show. So that's one of the positive things about this. However, it also limits you to the log diameter that you can put on this table here, which is approximately 19 inches. If you didn't have this, you could naturally get a log or a round that's about 25 to 30 inches on this. So one of the benefits of a vertical splitter and this wedge going straight down is the fact that when you split the wood and it's, let's say, dry wood, it pops to the side and not at you. Whereas when you're working on a horizontal splitter and you're almost right in front of the piece of wood, I've had it pop out and hit me. And here are some back-saving options that are worth their weight in gold, and that is the lift table here. Now, this one happens to be 30 inches by 18 inches, and if you add the table and the side extension, which is 16 by 18, you have a total working space of 76 inches. And this will lift 150 pounds maximum, which is more than I can lift by myself anyways. Now, the Axis log lift table is huge, 32 by 32. And if you add the whole span of the working table along with the log lift, you're at 101 inches. And what I typically do is I stage all my wood on here before I even turn the machine on, and I can get over a half of a face cord on this platform right here before I start. So I'm not wasting any time once I start splitting. And as far as how much weight this can take, pretty much anything you can put on this, it'll lift. But the realistic amount is probably between 400 and 500 pounds. And when you're using the lift table here and bringing up a round that's 500 pounds, you need something to stabilize this. And these are outriggers that come. You have one on each side here so that the machine doesn't tip over anyway. And Splitfire uses these flip-up stabilizers here. So when you're working on it, you flip these down, and when you're traveling, you remove these, or I shouldn't say remove them, you just flip them back up so there's more space when you're using your ATV or UTV. And now to get to the meat and potatoes, and that is your cutting length. The Axis has a maximum length of 24 inches. So if you're doing boiler wood, which many people like to have longer wood, this is perfect for that. And the 1165 has a maximum cutting length of 20 inches. Now, even though you can split a round that's 24 inches on the Axis, if you're working with 16-inch wood or 14-inch wood or something of that nature, and you want to get quicker so you don't have that lag time on your ram, they do have this log limiter right here. Super easy to adjust on the fly. You don't have to unbolt or do anything. Just lift this arm up, pull this pin out, and adjust whatever you want. And the newer version even comes longer, so you can do the pizza wood, the shorter pizza wood, easily. The 1165 also offers a limiter, only one, and that's in 16 inches. And you add this part, this little flat part right in here, which stops the ram from going. There's also a collar that you have to put on underneath here, and this limits the amount of travel that you have so that you can go to 16 inches. But what I found is, because this is only a 20-inch travel, 16 inches, I don't gain that much, so I remove this and I don't use it right now. If I started doing pizza wood or some of the solo stove type wood, then I would put this back on, and that would save me some time. As far as hydraulic oil capacities, the Axis holds 25 gallons, and it also has an oil cooler on the new version as well. Now, the 1165 holds 5 gallons of fluid in this square reservoir right over here. And naturally, the more hydraulic fluid you have, the longer you can work in hot weather without the hydraulic fluid starting to foam or come out of the cylinder here. Now, I have had this splitter for about a month and have been working with it in 80-degree weather, and I've had no issues with it foaming or getting super hot. And now we come to the best part, in my opinion, of a vertical splitter, and that's hands-free operation. The Axis uses a foot control here, and it's only about a half of an inch of travel here. So your leg isn't lifted up 2 to 3 inches and you feel kind of awkward using it. With this, it's just like I said, half of an inch of travel here. And the ram just keeps going up and down as you're working on this. So your hands are on the block the whole time and manipulating it. So that's why you can go so fast with a vertical splitter. The 1165 offers 2 options on hydraulic control. The first one is hand operated. By pulling this down, the ram goes down, you release the handle, it goes up automatically. And in lieu of a foot control, Splitfire is the only company out there that is offering a knee control. They feel that it's safer than a foot control. And you slightly move your knee to one side and it activates the ram here. Super easy. Initially, I didn't know if I was going to like this, but after about 8 to 10 chords, I don't know which one I like better. They both work fantastic. As far as tires, the Axis uses a 175/80 R13 trailer tire, and that's a 5-lug. As far as the Splitfire, they use a 4-bolt 15-inch tire. And as far as moving or towing your splitters, the Axis has a torsion suspension, as well as with the larger tires, no problem going on the highway with this. However, the 1165, on the other hand, is primarily meant to tow in your yard with an ATV or a UTV. The tires are only 15 inches and they're not roadworthy, so don't take this on the highway. However, though you can't tow this on the highway, one of the benefits of the Splitfire 1165 is the caster assembly option. If you need to move it short distances or anything and don't want to hook it up to your UTV or ATV, pull this back and you can easily just move it around. As far as lubrication, the Axis uses grease here on these way tubes on both of them here that the Ram travels on. So that's all you use is any type of wheel bearing grease or lithium type of grease. And no grease is necessary on the 1165V. They use replaceable UHMW liners over here, so you never have to grease this or worry about that. Now, previously I gave you the height of both of these machines, and I wanted to mention something about storage. A lot of you just park this in the field and that's it, you don't have to worry about it. But some of us bring it inside our pole buildings or garages. Now, this will not fit in any garage, standard garage. At 102 inches for the top of the Ram or 125 with the conveyor, it's not going in a conventional garage. But the Splitfire, on the other hand, at 84 inches, and it narrows down to a small footprint, you can put it in. It's actually smaller than a barbecue grill. And the last thing I wanted to point out and mention is the fact that we all work in all different types of weather, both raining and when it's super sunny. Now, the Axis will not fit under a conventional canopy type tent. It's just too tall. However, there is a umbrella holder bracket on the side of the Axis that you can get now, and the umbrella will cover the top of it. Now, on the Splitfire at 84 inches, it does fit inside of a square canopy type tent or a standard umbrella. I use a 10-foot wide umbrella that articulates, so I just put an umbrella stand in the back here and it covers me completely. Super comfortable to work when it's either drizzling outside or whether it's 90-degree weather. So I've taken you through both the Splitfire 1165V and the Axis, and I've given you a lot of food for thought. So here's my takeaway on this, and that is, if money is no object or you have a lot of tree service type ugly wood, you're better off with the Axis, without a doubt, a commercial type splitter. You'll split longer and have a lot more power than the Splitfire. Now, if you do 20 cords or less of firewood, in my opinion, the Splitfire is sufficient. It's fast, compact, and economical. But you can't go wrong with either splitter here. But as I said in the beginning, the Splitfire is not a commercial splitter. Hopefully you have a better understanding on these two splitters now. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up as well. And remember, pass it forward. Make the world a better place. And don't be a tool. Watch Tony's Cool Tools. Until I see you next time, have a great day.